Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Business Success Challenge. This evening, we're featuring artificial information. Now, what are business success challenges? Well, we've actually put together a group of 4 different challenges. They are the networking, the content marketing, the business philosophy, and psychology. And all those have been done over the past 2 weeks here. And this evening, we're going to focus on artificial intelligence. I want to introduce you to Chris, the OG podcaster, DALL-E, podcaster, speaker, author. I have known Chris for over 20 years, I guess. And it says technology early adopter. Well, what is that? It's a person or organization that's among the first to adopt, use a new product, technology, or innovation. They're often willing to take risks and try out new ideas before they're mainstream. Next, we talk about, and by the way, Chris was one of the first podcasters in the world. So this August, it'll be his 20th year. So what is a AI prompt engineer? Well, it's a professional who specializes in creating and optimizing prompts for artificial intelligence models. Now, they've got expertise in understanding how language models work and how to generate desired outputs by giving specific instructions. He's also 5 times best-selling author. You need to read some of his books. They're very interesting. Public speaker, television, radio personality, the Texas high school football historian, and board game designer. So I want to start off with what he'll cover today. Yes, what is AI, and will it kill us all? Chatbots, top choices. I really like this portion of it because you're going to learn about the differences between the different chatbots. Image creation. That's one of the most powerful parts of AI here, and the new changes that come up. So I'm going to play a quick. Try to play it.
Running a small business is like embarking on a never-ending journey. Every day brings new challenges, new opportunities, and new lessons to be learned. That's why investing in your own growth and development is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. What better way to learn than from those who have been there and succeeded? Thank you for taking the time and investing it in yourself. You'll gain insights, learn practical strategies to overcome common hurdles, and connect with like-minded entrepreneurs who share your passion for success. Don't just listen. Instead, leverage their experience to unlock the knowledge and resources you need to thrive in today's competitive market. Sir Isaac Newton, when commended on being such an influential thinker, said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." While we may not be giants, we may just have a tidbit or two that you can gather and incorporate into your business and/or personal life. Remember, the path to success is paved with continuous learning and strategic investments. Congratulations for taking this step to seize the opportunity to elevate your business to new heights.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Chris DALL-E.
Thank you, Gail, and thank everybody for attending. I first want to welcome all of you. There's so much to cover. We're going to go through it fast, but if you're already familiar with AI, you're going to learn a couple things. If you're not, I just want to run through a couple examples of ways that you are already doing it. You may not realize it. Virtual assistants like Siri and Alexa, places like that, those are AI. Recommendation systems on your streaming platforms, when Netflix or Peacock or Hulu or one of those says, "Hey, you should try this," when it recommends what to watch next, that's AI. Amazon will show you products that are often bought together. Well, that's AI analyzing what people buy. Or those ads you see on social media. AI will pay attention to what you engage with, and then it tries to show you more of that. The idea is to sell something, right? And the creepier version of that is a phenomenon we call surveillance capitalism, or they renamed it targeted advertising, so it didn't sound so scary. Let's say you and your spouse are having a conversation about maybe wanting to buy a new bicycle. Well, later, you're browsing the web or scrolling through social media, you start seeing ads for bikes, bike accessories, even local bike shops are popping up. You've never searched for bikes online, but these ads start popping up. All you had was a conversation. Your device's microphone picked it up and paid attention to what your demographics are and started showing you things. How did they do that? Well, they sold your data instantly to advertisers. It's a bit like having an invisible eavesdropping marketing team following you around constantly. But there's some good stuff too. When you get a fraud alert from your bank, that's AI. When your map program reroutes you to find the best route, that's AI. It's doing good stuff. How about when your phone pops up and it says likely spam? That's AI. All good stuff. It's not Skynet. It's not sent from the future to wipe off humanity from the face of the earth. But I will warn you, if you don't get on board, your competition could eliminate your company. I had a conversation at a networking group this week, and they all just kind of piled on how negative AI, it's going to ruin our jobs, it's going to destroy everything. And somebody brought up a term that they're now referring to AI as automated intelligence or assisted intelligence. It doesn't sound as scary as artificial intelligence, but either way, AI is going to fundamentally change every business. It's pretty crazy. And you'll see later, changes are happening every single day. We're going to go into all that. Now, if you haven't heard of or used ChatGPT, I like to say you've been living under a rock, but it's even worse than that. You're just not conscious because everybody knows it, right? ChatGPT is a chatbot that uses artificial intelligence to create human-like responses to questions. It's based on what is called a large language model, or LLM. That means it was trained on a very large amount of real language information, like a whole bunch of books, encyclopedias, and the internet, tons of information there. So it was all fed into that, so it knows everything there. Users can ask questions. ChatGPT will respond. It'll do it in text. You can say, do it as a limerick. Write a scientific article for me. Write an essay. Write a social media post. Write computer programming code. Or maybe you don't like writing emails. It can write your emails for you. And the best part about it is it's iterative, which means that you can ask it to modify its response. If you ask it to write a social media post and you don't like the result, well, you can say something like, make it more upbeat or mention Taylor Swift in the post. It will immediately rewrite that post with your new instructions. The free version 3.5 was trained on information up to the end of 2022. So it's not up to speed on what's happening right now. It cannot access the internet in real time. So if you ask about Caitlin Clark get with her win advancing to the Final Four, it's not going to know anything about that. However, you can pay for a version that is up to date, scans the internet in real time, and gets your answers. If you're not using it, I don't think anybody here is not using it, but that's the URL. But there's many other chatbots out there. A lot of people, ChatGPT is the only one they know. And these are some of the top choices. They're not in any order of preference. I use each of them for different things, and some not as much, but I try to often, I will run the same prompt to different ones just to see the differences. That's part of being that early adopter, is you have to learn the tech and figure out what's good for what. ChatGPT, the top one, that's the 800-pound gorilla in the room. It's the one that most people know. Several companies now are working on interfaces that will allow you to connect it via voice while you're driving. So now you know how you can play Spotify, you can play podcasts, all that while you drive, you're going to be able to talk to your chat GPT while you drive too. It saves your conversations, which is great. Let's say you're having a conversation with it and you go on to something else. And 6 months later, you decide, yeah, I want to dig deeper. Well, you can bring it up. You can go back to that thread and pick up exactly where you left off and say, tell me more, or ask another question, and it will read through what you've been talking about and give up-to-date responses. Now, news was leaked recently that GPT-5 will be out this summer, and it will feature a really cool addition, the ability to perform functions autonomously. That means instead of just giving it a simple task and saying, give me 10 ideas for social media posts, you can then say the next steps. You can tell it, hey, I need ideas for social media posts and I need you to write them and I need them in this format. And, you can give it a bigger task. You don't have to lay out all the little bits, individual steps, because it will know the next steps. And I heard that ChatGPT is raising more funds because the race is on to get AI skill sets into the companies. They're raising funds right now, and it is valued at $100 billion. That's OpenAI's ChatGPT. Claude, that is good for long form content. I really like the fact that it can read and analyze files. You can upload large PDFs to it, and it can summarize it for you. Anthropic is the founding company, and that was founded by some former OpenAI leadership. So everybody's stealing from everybody in terms of talent. It has heavy investments by Google and Amazon, so all the big money is fighting this war to see who's going to rule the roost. And Claude actually scored better than ChatGPT on several benchmarks. And as we go through some of these, you'll see ChatGPT is the most ubiquitous, but it's not the best at everything. It's just got the biggest footprint. Copilot, that's Microsoft's offering. Now, it offers a unique blend of GPT-4, Bing, and DALL-E. And DALL-E is a image processing. So this one chatbot can now do images and text in the same interface. And we'll talk about images a little later. It will also listen to your initial prompts and provide relevant follow-up questions. It does a better job of asking follow-up questions than a lot of them. Not that the others are bad, but you have to add in the prompt that after you ask it a question, you can say, oh, and ask me any questions you need to provide a comprehensive answer or something like that. And then it will ask questions. This one does it automatically. And Copilot added the paid version of GPT-4 to their free offering. Let's go to Gemini. Google Bard is the one that transformed into a suite called Gemini. It provides same thing, real-time responses and fact-checking. So it not only can search the internet live, but it double checks and makes sure that it's just not finding stuff. It double checks for accuracy, which it does a better job. It too can generate images, but what's cool about it is it understands images. And I know that seems like the same thing, but it's not. You can upload a photo and it can tell what's in that photo, which most of the other ones, it can't even tell what it created. It can create a great photo, but if you later ask it to analyze that photo, it doesn't know what it is because it can't see. This one can. Gemini is also available in 45 plus languages, offers YouTube, Maps, Google Workspace, all those integrations, which means it's going to be a big player. Perplexity, that one's kind of cool, and I actually use it a lot. It's sort of an amalgam of a bunch of different ones, and I like the approach because you can choose whether you want GPT-4 to answer it, Claude 2.1 to answer it, Gemini, or Perplexity to answer it. So you can choose the engine in that one interface. It allows you to switch between the models, and you can feed it up to 25 articles at the same time. So many of these have a character limit. Like I think it's Pi is the one that has like 1,000 character limit, so you can't ask it anything too complex. And it too is now adding the Copilot feature that allows it to ask questions. Pi, I love Pi. Pi is one of my favorites, not because it's great in function for business, as a personal assistant. This is my favorite because it tailors its response to your needs and interests, and that means it does a better job of understanding you and learning about you. So its focus is to help you in a very empathetic way. You kind of think of it as an executive assistant that learns your habits, learns your needs, and more important than anything, it's not dry. It's friendly. It's understanding. I've already mentioned it's empathetic. So it creates a much more enjoyable conversational experience. I find it great because the tone, it's just more encouraging. It's like talking with a friendly person versus some, accountant who, and nothing against any accountants here, but who is just dry and doesn't have any, emotion in their conversation. So I love that one. Another thing I really like about it is your login transfers regardless of the platform. So, and some of these do some of that where, I can log in on my desktop. I can also log in on the app. I can text to Pi. I can call Pi. I mean, I can communicate with it however I want to, and it remembers everything about me. So I kind of played around with it the other day and asked it, what do you know about me? And I was shocked how much it knew, not just from what I told it, but remember, it asks questions too. So it learned about a lot about me from those conversations, but also it can search the web live. So it found me. I'm all over the web. Unique spelling of my name means there's not a lot of me out there. It's pretty simple for it to find. So again, that's a fun one. But let's talk about image creation. I mentioned DALL-E, which I didn't even list here, but AI image creation is exploding, and there's a ton of changes happening there too. These are just some of the ones I use more frequently. I think I use ideogram the most, but just like chatbots, they each have different abilities. I like ideogram's interface and its speed. It's so fast. So I can type something in, 15 seconds later, I will have a beautifully rendered image that is unique and it's mine. That's very cool. So we're going to go into some of the differences. We don't have time to go into all of them. This is a good chance to say, hey, pay attention in the VIP Facebook group, because as these changes happen, you'll notice I post things out there. So it's a great learning place. So let's take a look at the differences in image based on the prompt. Gail mentioned prompt engineering. Those are 3 prompts right there. And an engineer learns what to say to get what results you want. So the first one is, draw me a dragon. And that's the response I got from Night Cafe. Did a really good job. That looks like a nice dragon, right? I don't know about nice, but a good dragon. Maybe not good. A well done dragon. So next I thought, okay, let's change things up a little bit. And I say, okay, now do a majestic fire-breathing dragon perched on the edge of a rocky cliff. Its gleaming red and gold scales contrasting with dark stone, and its massive wings outstretched as it overlooks a lush green valley below. That's a lot, but it did a great job. I mean, it did an amazing job. It's got everything. It's got the cliff, the valley below. It's got the outstretched wings. It's got it all. And I thought, okay, well, let me change this up, because let's say I don't want the scales, or I don't want the valley. So I changed it to a majestic fire-breathing dragon perched on the edge of a rocky cliff with its wings outstretched, but without any visible scales, fire, or valley in the background. And what do you think it prompted, or what do you think that prompt created? Well, actually, it's a little different dragon, but it's still got all that stuff. It's still got the scales, it's still got the valley down below. And that's because, as Gail points out in his networking webinar, AI, just like people, can't think in terms of negative. So if you mention valley, you think valley. So We mentioned no valley, but it's still thought valley because that's what we said. But you'll notice one of the other things about this, yeah, the images were similar, but look at these dragons. They're different. They're different dragons. And that's what happens in traditional AI image processing is it just creates it from whole cloth every time. Well, that changed. This was announced last week, and you notice how much those dragons changed. Now Midjourney lets you create a character. You play around with your prompts until you get the character you want, and then it allows you to tweak it. This is a prompt that was finally settled on a rough-looking guy with a patch, right? And this is what it came up with. But now you can simply tell it, take this guy, put him in different settings, put him in different clothes, put him in different eras, put him in different positions. And it knows to make it look like the same guy. Again, doesn't sound huge till you spend a few minutes to think about it. I can now see that using AI to animate your creations, and they're already starting to allow you to animate these things. It will soon have fully produced AI movies and TV shows. It won't be long. In fact, there already works in production on TV. So if you want to see episodes of All in the Family, most of the cast is dead already. You can't make new episodes. The sets are long ago destroyed. Well, AI can. AI can create them written in the same style, but maybe dealing with AI. Maybe dealing with what's going on in the presidency now. Obviously, things that never would have happened, but it's still the same characters. It's still Archie. It's still Meathead. It's still the same characters doing their thing in their voices, in their real images. But you can do it with anything. All in the Family, Happy Days, Andy Griffith Show, Seinfeld, Friends, you name it. Because AI can just take that as existing data and create full-on shows. In fact, there are huge lawsuits already in place trying to stop all of that. The estate of George Carlin just won a lawsuit because some kid created a video of George Carlin talking about today's stuff in his same sarcastic style, his same humorous with soundtrack that looked like him on a stage. It was good. It looked like George Carlin. Well, it wasn't. He was just playing around to show it and got millions of views, obviously. But yeah, they sued him. They didn't go after any money. They just made him cease and desist. But yeah, it's going to open up a whole bunch of stuff. We've all heard about deepfakes, right? Where you can create people saying and doing things they didn't do. I want you to watch this and see if you can tell which one of these Obamas is fake.
Look at these images. Now, tell me which Obama here is real.
To help families refinance their homes, to invest in things like high-tech manufacturing, clean energy, and the infrastructure that creates good new jobs.
Anyone? The answer is none of them.
Yeah. Yeah, none of them are fake. Are real, I mean, every single one. So like any tool, and we discussed this in that networking group when everybody was anti-AI, it can be used for good or evil. But fear not, there are already browser plugins that scan video, scans photo, even text that will alert you when AI-created content is being shown. It's, in fact, the same companies that created the technology to do that are also the ones who are putting in these ways to test and detect those things. So yeah, this one is for my Star Wars fans. It's a short film made 100% by AI. Every single thing about it is made by AI.
I think he's near.
Krok, het is Bizu.
Hello again, Lisa Ratano. I need the artifact. Tunoka. This. So you don't want to play nice? What if I let the Empire know about your illegal operation?
Yeah, as you can see, it's a little cheesy, but the fact that there were no real actors, there was no real lighting, there was no real film, there was no real director, there was no sets, no anything. It was just AI creating all of it. That's a pretty big deal. So I wanted to also tell you about how quickly all this stuff is changing. Tons of AI news coming in, and that's the image. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Well, this is just a portion of what came in just today. Google's AI search, right? They're adding AI to their search, and we're going to learn about it. We're going to get to play with it, but they've also said that eventually that will become a subscription. Your traditional search will remain free, but if you want the advanced search, you're going to have to pay a fee. And there's also a war on for AI talent. OpenAI, which I mentioned, has bled people. Now they're trying to lure away two of Elon Musk's AI guys. And Musk basically had to double their salaries to keep them, but he kept them. Mark Zuckerberg with Meta, Facebook, he's been throwing huge contracts around at AI talent. So if you have AI talent, it is the gold rush right now. It is huge. And, I think, as I mentioned in the psychology one, I think you have the ability, just need the strategy. So don't skimp on learning about AI. It is going to be not only a game changer for your business, but like I said, it could turn you into a 7-figure income just as a side gig. It's crazy money. Another one that came out, Israel's AI program Lavender has been key in the Gaza bombings. It has marked thousands of targets, every bit of it done by AI. That's one of the reasons the world organizations and governments are all banding together saying, hey, we need to set some brakes on this stuff. Also, another good one, AI is being used to tackle the issue of food waste in restaurants and supermarkets. It analyzes the garbage and the sales data, and it's using that information to identify waste patterns. And it found things like oversized breakfast croissants and unsold yellow onions. Those are some of the first things it noticed, saying you could reduce a lot of waste if you just stopped, overproducing some of these things, or slow down or lower the size of the purchases. And the Congress has banned the use of Microsoft's AI Copilot by congressional staff, saying it's a potential risk until we get more federal rules on that stuff. So again, every time I talk to you, there will be 15 new ones. It's crazy. So let's talk about a quick recap here. Well, we covered that AI is definitely not going to kill you, but it will fundamentally change everything. I mean, everything. Every time I hear somebody say, oh, it's going to really hurt this business, I'm like, no, it's going to change every business, not necessarily hurt it. If you stay on top, if you keep your education on AI up to speed, it will help because you'll be one of the leaders. If you instead go, yeah, I'm just going to play around with ChatGPT and think it's cool, well, you're going to be looking for work and you're looking for clients because I kid you not, you think, oh, I'm self-employed, I don't have to worry about a job. You will have to worry about clients, though. We also talked about the top chatbots, some of their features. We talked about image creation, still images, video, and some prompting. We also covered the avalanche of news that is surrounding AI. I mean, you name it. There's so much going on right now. So it's time for your homework. And this will be starting very soon. I need you to send me an email. Send it to my email, cdoelle@gmail.com. Ask to be included in the newsletter. I've already got some people signed up for it. I think it's going to be great stuff because what I'm doing is I'm curating a list. I get about, 10 to 15 daily newsletters right now. Some of them have the same stuff. Many of them have different things, but a lot of it is just they're trying to fill up their newsletter. And I thought, forget that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to first go through and mark the ones that I think are important. And I'm going to use AI to help me organize it and make it presentable. So that's going to be a valuable way, a free way to keep a little bit up to speed. There's still a lot more to do, a lot more ways you need to get involved. With that, I'm going to hand things over to Gail for a second to talk about the VIP group.
Thank you, Chris. And VIP, very important person. If you're like me, you have to see things multiple times. Good books, I read several times. Good videos or podcasts, I watch or listen to several times. So this very important person gets to have a recording, not just of what you heard today with artificial intelligence, but all four: the networking, the content marketing, the business philosophy and psychology. All four you get when you are a VIP member. And then I want even more. I want to be able to have questions and get answers and so on. So a VIP member gets the 30-minute VIP question and answer session that follows each one of these challenges. And then there's a number of bonuses. For instance, each one of those topics has a workbook on there. Each one has a free one-to-one coaching session. And then I think the biggest thing of all is that you get a fully produced interview in a nationwide podcast with over 20,000 viewers. Now, I know what you're thinking. Boy, that cost is adding up, and I'm going to be hit with a big ticket. But then we add the private Success Challenge VIP Facebook group. And as Chris said, you get every single week new information on that Facebook group. So we Chris and I were looking at one of the top trainers in the world today, and the price on his product was $50,000. Well, we're kind of low when we say just $2,000 value, let me tell you. But you will get that by doing just one thing, and that is you'll get it free if you do the homework. So be sure and do the homework. Now I'll turn you back over to Chris to talk about the next step.
Cool. Thank you, Gail. And we mentioned these online self-guided courses. That's really where the rubber meets the road. These success challenges get you started, get you kind of a taste of what it is we're talking about. But especially, I say this about every class. I love this one, the artificial intelligence one, because we go in deeper into the chatbots, the images, the video, the best practices, which is really big. We'll dive in, we'll get some hands-on experience, and we'll talk about that up-to-date information, which, again, you'll get some of that in the newsletter, but, it's pretty perfunctory, small bit. We're going to go in much deeper in these self-guided courses. Plus, you get that 30-minute coaching session. All of this, $97 one-time fee, and you can rewatch it. And because, we talked about rewatching things, but this and some of the others are going to be changing even after you purchase the online self-guided course. You watch it, you come back in a week, watch it again, there will be some updates. So we're going to be tweaking it and adding things because it's always changing. So you can come back and audit the course forever with all the changes. And that's still a bargain. There are so many courses out there that have one half the stuff that's in this one for $5,000, $10,000, and it won't be $97 for long. So I want to thank everybody again for showing up, and we can take some Q&A if y'all are ready.